Looking for an affordable captured buffer spring for your AR-15? We're checking out Armaspec stealth recoil springs, the lightweight Magpul MOE Bipod, and the colorful world of Lancer Systems' AR magazines on this week's Gear Grind. Today, I've got my lightweight What Would Cloner Do rifle back on the table and a very light, almost all polymer Magpul MOE Bipod. This is for more than just your AR. It can go on any rifle with a standard sling swivel. This knob in the front basically loosens or tightens two steel tabs that squeeze around the swivel, and it's pretty self-centering. Once it's there, it's solid. There are other versions that mount direct to M-LOK, Picatinny, or ARM-17. We'll talk about those in a second. So feel, this bipod uses Magpul's glass-filled polymer, and it's surprisingly solid for such a light material. For my part, better than a lot of the less expensive aluminum bipods out there. The legs feel great as you extend and lock them into place, and all in, this thing weighs about 8 ounces. And especially on a light rifle, you won't sense a huge difference in weight or balance. Onto form. Yeah, this thing looks great, straight up. Only two colors, black and FDE, but it'll match your Magpul FDE furniture and Cerakote parts from AT3, just saying. All of Magpul's designs all really flow nicely on the AR, and this is no exception. Especially compared to other models of Magpul's bipods, this thing also has a sleeker profile when it's stowed, just takes up a lot less room up front. So, onto function. If you're looking for a bipod that's very simple and lightweight, and you're not looking at a lot of dynamic shooting, this thing works great. But if you need pan and tilt, which most people looking into bipods for hunting or as a competition aid are, this thing may fall short for you. The higher end Magpul bipods like you see here have about 50 degrees of pan and tilt, which are essential for those kinds of applications. Features. Biggest one for me, one of the lightest bipods you can get that's adjustable and affordable. Compare this to some of the carbon fiber stuff out there, the really high end, you'll see what I mean. But this bipod is best suited for fairly static shooting, great for sight-ins and anything where you know the terrain will be flat. Beyond that, I'd spring for the more deluxe versions Magpul carries. Price will be higher, but you definitely get a lot more for your money. I'm gonna cover these in a future video once I get a little more trigger time with them. Next up, the self-contained Armaspec stealth recoil spring, completely captured and completely silent when your rifle cycles. Fit. The Armaspec SRS fits in your AR-15, plus one model to work with 308 pattern AR rifles. These are all carbine length systems, so they work in standard 6-position buffer tubes. Armaspec also makes a spacer for the old school A1 or A2 rifle length tubes, so pop that in first, then the stealth recoil spring, and you're good to go. As far as feel, the first thing you'll notice when you install this is how smooth and almost elastic it feels when you charge your rifle. There's two springs that travel along a steel guide rod, one that's your full travel, and the second that mimics the sort of dead blow hammer effect with a traditional buffer and spring. This system changes your recoil impulse slightly. It doesn't necessarily reduce recoil unless you're adjusting weights, but it is different and slightly more pleasant, at least for my opinion. Onto form. Armaspec has put a lot of effort into cleaning up how these things look over the years. They used to have a lot of fasteners and stuff, and now it looks cleaner than it's ever been. This ties into function a little bit, but I've got an older model here and the current generation for it, and you can see a huge difference. As far as function, I've used Armaspec stealth recoil springs basically as long as I've been with AT3. I have a few rifles that use them, other guys on the team have them, and generally they're pretty great. But tying back those generational improvements, I have seen the older gen models have issues with fasteners backing out here and there, but Armaspec is continually taking feedback and improving. Not to mention, if you call them with a problem, they'll work to make it right with you. So features. The big one here is the variety of options you have for putting an SRS into your rifle. There's the standard carbine weight up through H3 for tuning standard ARs, plus 9mm for your big bores like 450 Bushmaster and the 308 version I mentioned. And there's a certain je ne sais quoi about these stealth-contained springs. It's a little different in a lot of small ways. Whether that justifies the price versus a standard buffer and spring, that's for you to decide. But if you got the scratch to try it, I'd say give it a shot. I've taken a bunch of my Lancer AR magazines out of storage, and by golly, there's a lot of colors here. So fit. Two main varieties for your Lancer mags, AR-15 and AR-10 versions. Standard mags slap into all my rifles no problem, lock up tight and drop free. Easy. If you're running a 308 platform, Aero M5, something similar, you'll see the same thing when you're loading your rifle. So feel, these magazines feel great in the hand. A lot of polymer body mags can feel bulky, maybe don't have as much texture, but the Lancers give you plenty of grip with all these little bumps and grooves you see. Really comes in handy when you're drawing from a pouch or placard to reload. So form, let's be real, this is probably the biggest reason people stock up on Lancers. Yeah, you've got your standard black and flat dark earth shades, but you also have translucent shades, including these bright neon colors. You're gonna have less options on the 308 side, but that's nothing a rattle can, or better yet, RIT dye can't fix, at least for your clear magazines. Function, lots of people use Lancers, lots of people swear by them. To be clear, I like any mag that runs, and in my experience, Lancers feed as reliably as any other. There are a few videos around the first round popping out of Lancer mags on a fresh reload, but I'd say it's far from a universal thing. The steel feed lips you're getting on Lancers are tougher to bend than USGI aluminum, and you're getting a self-lubricating anti-tilt follower for reliability. So features, to me, there really is something for everyone here. If you like your aluminum GI mags, you'll probably appreciate real steel feed lips on a lightweight polymer magazine body. If you're a goofball who saw the Barbie movie and now want a bunch of bright pink neon AR magazines, you'll probably like these too. This comes down to whether they're any good, and they are. I mean, if the US Army's next generation squad weapon from SIG is fed by a Lancer mag, I'd say that's better than any endorsement I could ever give.